welcome back, everybody. I hope everyone had a good weekend. Did you guys have fun or do anything super exciting?
Not really.
No.
I slept.
You slept. Sleeping's good.
I was working.
Working. Sounds fun. Sounds exciting. Okay, so if you guys remember from last time, we've been going over like all the basic building blocks of life. So atoms, what consists of atoms. So we have the neutrons, protons, electrons. And then we've been talking about molecules and the different substances that come together when atoms are like bonded together. Awesome. Do you guys have any questions from last time when I talked about that stuff? No? Okay. So today what we're going to do is we're going to take our knowledge a little bit further and we're going to kind of keep looking at what happens just in general in chemistry when things are come together and what those are called. So Jose, would you be down to read our objective?
Yes.
Awesome. Let's hear it.
Students will be able to explain in writing the difference between an element and a compound using content-specific vocabulary.
Okay, so thank you, Jose. Thanks for reading that. So we're going to dive right in. So on the board I've written out a very scientific definition of an element and a compound. So first, who wants to read the definition of an element? Ooh, nice. Okay. Alaric, would you like to read it?
A substance consisting of atoms with the same number of protons.
Nice. Okay, so looking at this definition and what we've already learned, how does this appear to be similar to an atom, for example? Yeah, Damon.
Isn't an atom the smallest and most basic unit of an element?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's perfect. So I'll tweak that a little bit because you're right on in the sense that an atom is really similar to an element. So the only thing that's different is that in a very specific type of an atom is an element. So do you guys know where we would look like in the classroom to see the different types of elements?
Periodic table.
Yeah, the periodic table of elements. So nice, Haley. So we're going to look at that a lot more in depth next class and kind of look at the naming of elements. But for right now, that's just kind of general idea. So an element, so if we look at the periodic table, it has very specific atomic numbers. Again, we'll get more into this, but that's indicating the different amount of protons inside of a nucleus. And that's what differentiates different types of elements. Do you guys have any questions about that? No? Okay. So now we'll go into compound. Who would like to read me the definition of a compound? Yeah, we'll do Ritika.
A compound is a substance consisting of two or more different atoms chemically bonded together.
Nice. I had to add the different in there on the last, right before you guys came in. But so, looking at this, we talked about molecules. How do you guys think this is similar to a molecule? Haley?
A compound consists of two or more atoms. Same as a molecule.
Same as molecule. Yeah, nice. So what Haley's saying is that a molecule, same that we talked about last time, it consists of two or more different types of atoms. But as I just said, what's the second part of the definition, specifically the different? What do you guys think it's talking about when it says different types of atoms?
Is it referring to different types of elements?
Yeah, exactly. Nice, Haley. So yeah, exactly what Haley said. It's referring to different types of elements. So when we think about, let's see, this might be a tricky question, but does anyone have any idea of a common compound that you guys might find? Damian.
Isn't salt a compound?
Yeah, that's a great example. And it's something we use usually every day, like on our meats or veggies. Does anyone know what salt is composed of, like a table salt? We'll do a link because he had his hand up last time.
Isn't it hydrogen and something else?
Close. It's not hydrogen. Ritika, I'll ask you since you had your hand up.
Sodium and chloride.
Yeah, it's perfect. So salt I'll write it out so you guys can see it. It is, so as Ritika said, sodium, which is Na, and then chloride, which is Cl, and that is salt. So that is an example of a compound right here. Do you guys have any questions about that? Awesome, okay. So Ritika, will you help me for a second? All right, so come on up. And I want you to draw on the board under elements, 4 little circles kind of all clustered together. And so as Ritika's drawing, what she's drawing is she's drawing the inside of an atom, so the nucleus. So let's say that there's 2 protons in there and 2 neutrons. And what would the charges on those be? proton.
2 pluses and then 2, no,
Would it be negative, or if it's a neutron, is it neutral?
neutral.
Neutral, yeah, so there's no charge on that. And then let's draw one big circle around it. And then draw a mini circle around the circle. That sounds awful. Here, a mini circle, yeah, right there, and then a little one right there too. And what are those two?
Electrons.
Yeah, the electrons and the orbital shell. Perfect, okay, thank you, Ratika. So what Ratika drew is just an element. And so that one would have a specific name, and then that would be like a specific element on the periodic table. Okay, so then a compound, how do you guys think it would look different from an element? Damian?
Wouldn't have 2 elements?
Yeah, it would have 2 together. So, here, we'll do this, and you guys remember what binds 2 atoms together? Alaric?
An electron.
An electron, perfect. So I'll draw, this is gonna be a big one, an electron, and we'll have our nucleus in here. So yeah, so 2, we'll call them specific elements bound together, and let's call this one Na to use salt as an example, and Cl. Do you guys have any questions about that so far? No. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna get in groups and do a little bit more practice to drive these ideas home. So if you guys look at your papers, we have a sheet that has a Venn diagram on it, and then 2 questions at the bottom, asking you to compare and contrast compounds and elements. So Ratika, why don't you join Damian and Jose for a little bit, and then we'll take about 5 minutes. I'll walk between you guys, ask any questions if you guys have any, and we'll go through this sheet together. Sound good? Okay, so let's get to work.
Open soft.
Okay, let's pull it all back together, everyone. So I saw that everyone made it through this sheet. Good job, guys. First, I wanted to highlight Alaric's answer on the first question we had, which was asking, how are compounds and elements similar to one another? And what Alaric had said is that they're both consisting of elements, which are basically 2, for an element, it's 1 atom. For a compound, it's 2 or more atoms. How many other people had that answer for what they got? Nice, good job, guys. Okay. So there's about 30 seconds left in class, and so if you flip your sheet over, you'll see the exit ticket on the back. And what I'm asking you to do is just real quickly, in your own words, using some of the vocabulary we've gone over, write out your own definition of a compound and an element. And I'm actually gonna erase this, so you guys can't use it right now. Woo, okay. So yeah, go ahead and write out in your own words what you think a compound and element is, and draw a quick picture of each one to show kind of how you would differentiate the 2. Which I'm also gonna erase this then too, so you guys can't see it. Sound good? And then go ahead and hand them in to me as we leave the class. Awesome, thanks guys.